Hi again then guys, and so we've got another Special Projects replica style build for you today, and this time it's not a straight up replica, it's more of a semi-replica or an inspired by kind of build. And the reason for that is because quite simply I wasn't able to find all of the exact specs needed for an exact replica, plus it's kind of difficult because the car can't actually reach the actual specs of the real machine. But basically it's a replica of the number 88 Rain X JLOC Countach race car. Now we've got the exact power of the real car, very similar look, similar colour, but I was not able to find the weight of the real race car. I'm sure that spec is out there somewhere, but I wasn't able to find it. And from what I've heard, the race version was kind of an evolution of the Countach Evolution, which is an ultra-light model, which, as I said, I don't think we can get the car to be that light on the game. And also I wasn't able to find the gear ratios, which isn't surprising for a race car. They're usually quite secretive about that because obviously you don't want other teams knowing that sort of thing. But apart from that, we've got the same power as the real car, and it's really the spirit of the race car. We've made the Countach perform like that car might perform if it were on the game. Now as far as the look, as you can see, all I've done is slap the number 88 on there, painted it yellow like the actual race car, and fitted that traditional Countach wing. I've left the rims stock because they're the closest to the actual rims on the racing version. And as for the colour, it's called Naples Yellow, which is kind of a pale old school yellow, and that comes from the Suzuki Auto Lapin Turbo. So we'll go straight over to the tuning garage for the mechanical setup and then take it out to the track to see what it can do. Now, as far as the mechanical setup on this particular model, as you can see, it sits quite nicely at the 560 pp level. We are running the same power as the real car, 550 horsepower. Now, I've gone for racing soft tyres, but obviously everyone has their own preference there. For suspension, we've got the ride height as low as possible. Springs we've increased to 1450 and 1425. The dampers to 5 all round. Anti-roll to 4 with neutral camber and toe. We'll come back to the gearbox in a second. For the diff, we've got initial torque halfway to stiffen up that front end, acceleration halfway to keep it a little bit stiff, but at the same time not too stiff, and the braking we've got as low as possible to keep the car under control under heavy braking. For the power, as I said, 550 horsepower. We do have an oil change. Now we've gone for pretty much everything except the manifold, and then reduced the power down to 77.4%. We've got the downforce set on the maximum, the full weight loss package, and I've gone for a 29 kilo ballast to round off the weight and also to make it as PP relevant as possible, seeing as I mentioned, I wasn't able to find the exact weight. And to be honest, based on what I know about the Countach Evolution, I don't think the race car, or I don't think the car on the game would be able to come anywhere near the weight of the race car anyway. Incidentally, I've put that ballast all the way to the front to improve the weight distribution a little bit. And as far as the gearbox, I've gone for an auto setting of 205, and then individual gears of 2.9, 1825, 1275, 950 and 750, with a final drive of 3.3. So now let's finally take it out to the racetrack to see what it can do. Now, with some Special Projects builds, you can be fairly confident as to how the car will turn out. If you're working on something like a GTR or an Audi Quattro, you pretty much know that it's going to turn out to be a good car no matter what. But with other vehicles, they're a little bit more tricky. Stuff like the Cobra, the Countach, the Stratos, cars like that, they're a little bit trickier to set up correctly and for them to pull off really feeling like an authentic race car. But I have to say, this car has really impressed me by just how authentic it feels. It actually drives like a race car. And for the 560 pp category, I think it's going to be a very competitive machine for those of you who do decide to use it. The handling is remarkably good compared to what I expected it to be. So, if you use this JLOC Countach build, I hope, of course, you find it fun and competitive. And if you're new to the channel and would like to keep up with replicas and custom tunes like this as soon as they're released, be sure to hit subscribe down below. And as always, thanks for watching.